everyone, it's Imogen and welcome back to Colouring Kid. I hope you're all doing well. This is going to be part 2 of my colouring book collection, and I'm also going to be sharing with you all of my completed pages as we go through the books. If you haven't watched part 1 already, it will be uploaded on my channel by the time you see this video. And I do just want to mention that also these videos I'm pre-filming before I go back to or start college, sorry, so that there's content for you whilst I'm just starting, so bear that in mind when I'm sharing whips and things, because that may change obviously before my completed pages video for August, because I haven't yet finished that. So I'm going to get started. The first part of this video is going to be my Rita Berman books, and then all of my hardbacks, so Clara Markova, Maria Troll and Hannah Carlson. I'll see how much time those take, and then if I have time I will also do some other books and things after. Obviously when you're watching this you'll know if I did get time to do those. I'm trying to make each of these videos no longer than an hour, and obviously this is part 2, and I think probably it will only need another part after this probably. So, Rita Berman books first. Sorry, I can't speak today. The first book is Mein Frühlingspaziergang by Rita Berman, obviously, so I just said. I don't have all of her books. This is the only seasons one I have in terms of the individual seasons, and I actually haven't coloured anything in it. The reason for that is I got this book before the All Four Seasons book, and then I got the All Four Seasons book soon after, and I thought, well, if I've got that one, most of the pages are going to be in that one, so I don't really need to colour in this if the pages are in there. However, there are some gorgeous pages in here that I do really want to do that aren't in that book. So where's the one? Here. So these two I absolutely adore, and I've wanted to do them for quite a while, but I've just been afraid of messing them up, and also I kind of think that I might want to take it out of the book maybe. But yeah, I haven't coloured in it yet, but most of the spreads in here you can find in All Four Seasons. So if you'd rather get the book with all 4 of them, you might not need to get all of these separate ones, but it is a lovely book, and there are some specific illustrations that I do want to do in there at some point. So this is the All Four Seasons book, Mein Spaziergang durch die Jahreszeiten. So I've done quite a few pictures in this book. There are some, as I said, that I would like to redo. This one I believe I did last year, near Valentine's Day. And they do go in order, so you have all the winter ones at the end, all the spring ones at the front. This was the advent calendar page that I did. In hindsight, I wish I'd spent longer on each of them, but I ended up forgetting to do a few days and then rushing it. This one I put down halfway through and then finally came back to it. Not one of my favourites. This was the first one that I did in this book. No glitter or anything on that one. This was a pumpkin page that I did kind of rush because I didn't use many pencils. This one I actually really like. I like the unusual colour palette that I did. There are some colours in there that I definitely don't use enough. This one was all Crayola when I first got them. Lots of these I did on my holiday. Got that one, which I did. This was in America. This one as well, lots of bright colours on there. I am proud of that one because I was trying to channel Rita Berman's style. This one was one of the first actually that I did that got me back into the book. I did a vlog when we went to the Lake District and I was working on this. It was soon after I'd got my Holbeins, I think. This one was on holiday as well. So as you can see, I have done quite a few. It's just a case of, as I was saying in my last video, you know, my style's changed, and I just have this weird thing of not really wanting to colour in books when my style, for me, has clearly changed. So, you know, and if I feel like some of the pages aren't to the best of my ability, I then don't want to work in the book, which is a real shame. But I think I've heard that other people also get that. I'm actually really happy with this one. That was with Holbeins as well. So, yeah, I'm not sure with this. If I will continue working in it, because obviously I have her newer books, which I personally love. My favourites are her brand new one, Meine Reise durch Europa, and the Die Welt unter der Lupe Zealandais. So I might focus on those, but there are some gorgeous illustrations in here. I would say obviously there are some patterny pages that, I mean, I did like the pumpkin one, which is sort of patterny, so I think for me that's probably why I haven't done quite as many of those ones. But it is a gorgeous book, and I'm just not as pleased with a couple of my pages. And you know, we're all our own worst critics, so you know, someone might think that the page I'm not as happy with, they really like it, and you know, vice versa. So it's, yeah, it's really up to you. So this is Die Welt unter der Lupe zu Wasser by Ruta Berman, and I haven't done as many in here. I had this idea when I got it that I wanted to use water medium in it, and I kind of wish I hadn't done that, because it did buckle the page, and not that buckling bothers me or anything, but I didn't go in and add any more shading or anything, so I kind of just left it as it was. That one, actually, I don't mind. It's another one that I've done. Let me show you. It was a really small one that I did. This one with gouache, and I didn't really water down the gouache enough, and it's very thick, and some of the lines have been covered up. So contemplating maybe taking that one out, because I don't really mind about that page so much, but because it's in the middle where the stitching is, it will mean that both of these pages are taken out. So yeah, I don't think it would really matter to me. But as I've said, the thing I love about Rita's newer books is that they kind of encompass everything in the one book. So there are water pages in her brand new book. So yeah, you never know. There are some gorgeous pages in here as well. I absolutely love it. So that is that one. We then have Die Welt unter der Lupe Zealandais, and I actually have 2 copies of this one because I did quite a few in here first time round, and I want to redo some of them because as I'll show you, there are some that I'm not as happy with. Bearing in mind this was like 3 years ago, must have been, yeah, yeah, I think it was 3 years ago. So, you know, my style has changed a lot in 3 years. That was a colour along that I didn't finish right at the beginning of my channel. I didn't finish it, and it was one that I had planned to do, but sorry about that if some of you were waiting for it right at the beginning. This one I finished. I do quite like that one, actually. I love this one. That's one I want to do again. I'm probably going to try and use different pencils though. I used polychromos and Faber-Castell pencils when I did that one. So yeah, I really do like how that came out, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. I am using Black Widow pencils a lot in her books because I love how they work. So I'll probably just stick to using those, to be honest. This one was a whip I never came back to just because of the repetition, and I kind of forgot what pencils I was using, unfortunately. These ones, the colour palettes and everything I'm quite happy with. It's just the execution of the colouring. I used a full stick Caran d'Ache blender, and it's kind of left a weird waxiness to it. And also for me, there were definitely bits that I rushed. This one again, I like. It's not one of my favourites, but I really enjoyed doing it at the time. This is one of my all-time favourite pages that I've ever done, and I'm very much looking forward to doing it again. The only thing I'm going to change when I do it is just add more dimension to these leaves, because at the moment it's literally just a blend of 3 colours from the middle out, and recently I've been trying to add more darker lines in there, make them a bit more interesting, kind of like how I've done them here. Not sure if you can see that. I colour leaves quite a bit differently to that, but I absolutely love my my blue duck eggs, or the duck egg blue. That's the colour that you typically use to describe them, I think. Not sure if I'll keep the pink on them or change them around a bit, but I love that one. That's one I want to do again. This was a whip that I never came back to. That was a quick one. Do you like how that one came out actually. I like challenging myself to use some brighter colours. This one for me, just a bit dull, you know, it's just browns and, you know, I tried a gold and kind of that red sort of brown colour, but yeah, not one of my favourites. I do really want to do this one at some point in my new copy though, so I did this one in my new copy, so I was very happy to get around to that one. And I'm currently working on, well, I'll show you in a minute. Oh, I can't find it now. I'm working on one and I will show you in my new copy now. So that's my first copy. Second copy I only got, I want to say last month. Yeah, it must have been last month. I have done the nameplate page, which I'm very happy with. I have just used Black Widow pencils on this and also my Killero Stardust paint for the glitter. And as I was saying in my last video, I rarely use Wink of Stella anymore because it just transfers over to the next page. This doesn't though, so I'm just going to keep using this. The one I'm working on is, I've just gone past it, this one. Very happy with how it's turning out so far. I don't think I'll get it finished before my August completed pages. I might, you never know, but obviously you will have seen that video before this one comes out. Just using Black Widows again with this one and thoroughly enjoying it. I have used a few polychromos on there, but that's one I didn't get around to in my first copy and I'm very excited to continue with it. And then of course we have Rita's brand new book, Meine Reise durch Europa, and I'm currently working on a whip in this. Again, I'm trying to get it done before the end of August, but I'm taking my time with it. I'm not sure if I will finish it. I think I might have mentioned in my last video, it's really now I'm just taking my time with pages. I don't really care how many I complete in a month. It's more just enjoying the process and colouring what I want to colour and what I feel like colouring. This one called to me partly because it was in the London section of the book, and also it was a really nice kind of simple one, but that I could really try some techniques on. So I've tried this kind of bokeh technique on the background. I've used Zest It Blend to blend it. I've done an autumnal colour palette, which I don't really use many orangey colours usually. I've done a brighter red, and I'm definitely looking forward to continuing with this. I'm going to make this building look like Liberty. I believe that's what it's meant to be, but I love Liberty. And yeah, I'll probably put red in a couple of other places, but I'm definitely looking forward to continuing that one. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've got a full flip through of this on my channel if you would like to see, but it's just breathtaking. This is probably my favourite of her books just because there's so much in it. It's jam-packed. I love all these little tinies. They're beautiful, and of course because they're smaller projects they won't take as long to do either. But it's just an absolutely stunning book, and there aren't any repeating patterns or anything in this one, so if you're not into that sort of thing, that's a great one. Oh, I don't think Zoolander really does. It has a couple. Okay, on to Klara Markova. I do have all of her books. I'll just share with you the various pages that I've done in them. This is her first one. It translates to Magical Delights in English, and this one I haven't coloured in for years because I've just worked on her newer books. This one I was following Jen Reading with Pugs, her picture that she did. I definitely know I've done another one in here. Yeah, this one. This was kind of inspired by her, but I didn't fully copy it. And you'll notice as well as we go through Clara's books, they get more and more detailed. This one I was testing out one of the door flaps that she gives at the back of the book. I have taken a few pages out of this actually because I was messing around with them and absolutely hate how they turned out. So yeah, as you can see, I've taken one of the doors out of the back there. So that's Magical Delights. We then have Tenderful Enchantments by Klara Markova, and I've done a couple of pages in here, I think. I love this one. I do need to come back to it, but I've found, especially over this past year, I've mainly been focusing on her I Believe in Fairies postcards, and they might even be her favourite product, my favourite product, sorry, that she's done. This one I did sometime last year, mostly Holbeins and Prismacolor, I think. And also I did this one last year because I only got this one last year actually. This was the final book that I added to my collection after, no, before Fairy Touch of Magic, sorry. And I've got that one. So that's Tenderful Enchantments. Now I actually have 2 copies of Fairy Miracles because I managed to find it on Amazon, and I didn't actually know that when Clara was sending me her Fairy Celebrations to review that she was also going to include Fairy Miracles for me. So that was a really lovely surprise, and I, as I said, I do now have 2. So I'm not sure at the moment what I'm going to do with my second copy. There are definitely pages I want to redo in Fairy Miracles. Out of all of the books, I feel like my colouring in this one isn't as good as what it could be. And there are definitely pages that I do want to redo. So I remember doing that one actually. This one I really want to redo. I'm not really pleased with that. But you know, I was really into my pastels, and I still am, but just the way I coloured it has changed. I do actually really like this one. That was inspired by oh my gosh, Aurora or Sleeping Beauty. Got this one. I definitely know I've got one more in here. I really like this one. I'd love to redo it, but I do really like how that one turned out. So that's everything that I think I've done in that one. And as I said, I've got my second copy. And out of all of the books, I think Fairy Celebrations is probably my favourite. I've done the most pages in this one. I'll just give you a quick run through of all the ones that I've done. Haven't coloured the nameplate page or any of the front pages yet. Lots of these were done during lockdown last year. That was a buddy colour with Effie recently actually. This one I want to add more dimension to at some point. That was a colour along I did on my channel last year. This was a buddy colour with Effie that I finished last month. That was from last summer. Most of these are done during lockdown because I only got these, I think, Christmas 2019. I love that one. It's all our teaser pencils. It's Halloween time. Can't actually remember how many I've done in here. That's my Halloween spread, my favourite picture. That was for Christmas in July last year. And I've done one more, which was my first one. Again, I want to add more dimension to this one. I didn't really like how the Crayolas worked in this book, and I used Crayolas quite a lot. Having said that, I love how the gingerbread men came out, and that was Crayola. I want to add more to the background. I feel like it needs something, but I have done a lot in this book, and it's one I would eventually like to keep working on and maybe complete someday. But having said that, the project that I'm currently working on out of all her books is actually her colouring postcards, because I would love to complete these one day. I think I've done 9 now. I'm going to give you a flip. I keep them all in this art portfolio. So if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, I basically bought it from Amazon, sorry, and I put them in because I just really like the way that they're kept secure in here, and it's a really nice way of displaying them so that they're like a colouring book. This is one that I finished this month, and then I keep all the ones that I haven't coloured. So there are 32 postcards, in this set, and I absolutely adore them. I have fallen in love with colouring postcards. I just love it. It's a smaller project for me to do, and I just find that I spend more time on details when it's in a postcard format. So I absolutely love those. I'm a quarter of the way done. And then we have Fairy Touch and Magic by Clara Markova, which is her newest book, which came out last year. I have only done 1 page in this because, as I said, I was focusing on her postcards, and it was this one which took me a long time to do, but I am pleased with it. I do want to do more in here, but obviously because the pages are more detailed, they do just take a longer amount of time to do. I might even try and do the page that's picked for Corey's colour along for September. That's quite colourfully optimistic, but we'll have to see. I'm not sure, and with time, how much I'm going to have in the coming months when I start college. So that is Fairy Touch of Magic. Okay, so moving on to Maria Troll. We have Twilight Garden, which is her first book, and I've literally done nothing in this apart from, where is it? The whip that I've had as a whip for 2 years. Definitely had it since I last did the video. Oh, why can't I find it? I haven't flagged any of these pages, so just bear with me. Yeah, this one, just Prismacolor, and I just did a blend from 90% cool grey to 10, and yeah, it's just very grey. I would want to add more kind of, I don't know, like a mossy effect, or even a little bit of brown in there maybe, just to give it a bit of a different colour. I think I was just doing it to test out my greys, because to be honest, this wouldn't even be the first page that I would gravitate towards doing. I do really like all the animal pages in this book. I'm just not as big a fan of just doing a page of flowers. I like it when flowers are in amongst other things with her style, I think, because they're so detailed. So yeah, this is a book that, you know, there are particular pages like this which I just absolutely adore, but just haven't got round to them. I haven't really coloured much Maria Troll actually in the last year, and I think that's purely because I really like her style, but it just hasn't called to me recently. Now, Schematised I've done a lot in. It was a book I was originally trying to complete. I've got a 40% completed flip through on my channel. Again, it's not one that I am trying to complete now. And I would really like to get a second copy, but again, it is very detailed. The pages I have left are detailed. There's that one. I love the paper in this though. The Dutch editions are my favourite. I might even hang on with her new book and wait for a Dutch edition if there's going to be one, because I do really like them. I love that one. That was Alice in Wonderland inspired. So there are ones that I really like in that book, and it's one of my favourites of hers. Okay, we also have Dream Reese, again one that I was steadily working through, and I'm just not sure if I will necessarily finish it, because I kind of forgot lots of the pencils that I was using in it. I did do quite a few pages in this during lockdown last year. I know I definitely did this rainbow one. I think I've done one more. Yeah, I've done this one. I went out of order. But that's kind of a storybook, so you could even write your own story on the left-hand side if you wanted to. That might be a really cool idea. We've got Botanicum. Now, I like the illustrations in this one. I don't really like the paper. It is the Swedish edition, and the paper is very... It's a good quality, but it's very smooth, and yeah, it's not my favourite paper to work on. This one was the first picture that I did with Holbein's. Kind of feel like I rushed it, but I wanted to get that page done in one day, and that was actually during the Easter holidays. That was done in about an hour. I think I used Polychromos pencils. There's a page I do have as a buddy colour in here actually that I want to do. This one, I was testing out fur with the squirrel. And one of my absolute favourite pages is this one. I love it. I'm considering maybe just taking it out of the book and keeping it or framing it or something for Christmas. I love it. I can't figure out how to do this red colour palette. I can't remember what pencils I used. But this will always be one of my favourite pictures that I've done that's by Maria Troll. So that's that one. Then we have Flora. Again, one I've kind of neglected. I know I've definitely done one in here. I think I have. Oh my god, where's it gone? Yeah, here. This was the one that I did. I used some glitter gel pens and things for all of these snowflakes. Again, a very quick one. This must have been 2 years ago. This is the English edition, and I actually really like the paper in this one as compared to the Twilight Garden. The only thing I feel like with some illustrators, as lovely as their style and, you know, artwork is, it's just very much the same sort of thing. So with Maria Choll and Hannah Carlson, I don't necessarily feel like as they're going to be coming out with more books, I need all of the books. It's different with artists where their work has evolved, like Clara Markova and Rita Berman. So yeah, I'm not sure. I would kind of prefer maybe to just work in the books that I have and not get their new ones straight away. We'll see. And finally we've got Luna. So she's coming out with a new book soon. Again, I was trying to work through this in order and it seemed like a great idea and I really wanted to do it, but just hasn't happened. This one's got a load of cute animals in it though, and again it's the Dutch edition and I love the paper in this. So that is her most recent book. So they are all of the Maria Choll books. As you can see, apart from Schema Tiege and Dream Reese, I really haven't worked in them much, but yeah, obviously as I'm not being able to colour quite as much as I have been, I'm just focusing on things that I want to focus on. So yeah, I may come back to them at some point. So they are all my Maria Choll. Onto the Hannah Carlson books. Hi everyone, so it is a new day and I'm going to be filming the second part of this colouring book collection video. I do just want to highlight that in my first part when I was talking about Maria Choll's books, to me I kind of sounded as if I was coming across quite negatively about her books, and that is absolutely nothing against Maria Choll as an artist or her illustrations. I think they're absolutely gorgeous, but as many people do, you know, as we grow our collections, our taste changes over time, and it doesn't mean that I will never colour a picture of hers again. In fact, I've got one that I'm going to do as a buddy colour. It just means that I won't be colouring her pages as frequently because there are certain books that I'm focusing on more, and you know, as I have less time to colour, you know, there are just books that I gravitate towards, and at the moment her books aren't some of them, which, you know, I think is a fair comment because I have worked in her books over the years a lot, as you can kind of see from Schema Tiege and Dream Reese. So, you know, I still love having them on my collection. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. But just as we go through some of my other books, just keep that sort of thing in mind. Obviously, as always with our colouring channels, you know, our opinion is our opinion and we all like different things, which I think is great. So I'm going to be continuing with the collection theme. So firstly we have the books that I have by Hannah Carlson. I don't have all of her books and I don't really feel the need to get all of her books either because the ones I have I really like. So the first one is Daydreams by Hannah Carlson. Now I could be wrong. I always thought that this was her first book, but maybe it was Magical Dawn. Well, no, sorry, Summer Nights. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've done a couple in here. I do want to do more. This is the English edition, so the paper isn't my absolute favourite because it's quite toothy, but I do like it. I love that there's more animals in this one as well. So this one I did as part of a colour-a-thon night that I did before I started my channel. Literally took me about an hour or so. And the other one that I've done in here, sorry if you can hear noise in the background, my mum's cooking. This one is one of the pages I'm really proud of. This is my Rainy Frog and it was a picture that I coloured for Katrine from Rose Colouring when she sadly passed away, and I know many of us did this picture. I followed her tutorial for the background and also for the mushrooms, and then kind of used some of Peter Hewitt's colours in there as well for her picture, but I really love it and it will always remind me of her. As I said, there are other ones that I do really like in here that I'd like to do. Just in terms of getting round to them. Oh, I have done that one. I've forgotten I'd done that. Okay, so that's Daydreams. Again, I have the English edition of Seasons. I actually love this book. It's the last one that I've added to my collection, apart from her newest book. And the paper in here I much prefer. I don't know whether it's actually, it feels different. Now the only thing I've done here, because this is one of the more recent books I've got, is this front title page. There are many that I would like to do, especially all of the animal ones. As you probably know with me, I don't colour portraits that much. That's just my personal taste. I do prefer animals and flowers and stuff like that. I would like to challenge myself with maybe some of her illustrations at some point. I really like these sorts of things, and I was giving myself the goal of trying to do a page from each season of these every 3 months or so, but I haven't got around to doing that yet. But yeah, there are some gorgeous pictures in this. I did want to do that, but I didn't get round to it. So that's Seasons. I'm hoping to do one in there for fall, or, well, fall, I say autumn, but autumn or winter, definitely. And then I have Spirit Animals, and I was very generously gifted this by Sue. I've done a picture in here which I am not very happy with the background, I have to say. I loved doing it, but you know, I had a lot of fun doing the process, but I don't like the outcome. Yeah, I used acrylic paint for the background and it just didn't blend the way I wanted it to. I'm kind of contemplating maybe taking it out because, as you know with me, as I've said in my videos, if there's a page bugging me in the book, it then stops me from colouring it, which is silly, I know. But yeah, there were some really cute illustrations in here. Again, I really like the animal ones especially. So yeah, this paper's nice as well. Really like it. Well, I mean, I won't throw this away, definitely not. But if I was to take it out of the book, I would just keep it in my portfolio that I have. But we'll see. I'm not sure if I will do that. And then we have Midnight Masquerade. Love the paper in this because it's the Dutch edition. I've done a couple in here. I've done the title page. I remember doing this whilst I was watching, now forgotten, Outnumbered. Love it. And that was Holbein and Prismacolor, I think, and maybe a few polychromos. Now, the Dutch edition is mostly one-sided, but not all. This was all Arteza and Pencil Hybrid Dual Metallics. Probably rushed that a little bit, but I actually really like the colour palette of that. And this one was for Valentina's Colour Along with Mice and Moles. This was my mouse, and I really like this one. This was Arteza, and I used on lots of this a base of my Calero paints and then went over with pencil, and it actually worked and gave a really cool effect. I'm not sure if it will show up. It's kind of a shimmer. And also I used glaze a lot. A tip with glaze, if you haven't heard me say it before, 2 layers is definitely best. I used to only do 1, and now I'm really glad that I do 2. That's all I've done in there so far, but I really like this one, and there are so many cute ones in that. And then finally we have her newest book, Tales from the Forest Kingdom. This is the Swedish edition, so personally for me the paper's not my favourite. Because I haven't done too many in here, I'm probably going to hold off getting her brand new book because I don't feel like I need it right now. It's coming out in literally about a week. This one, because bearing in mind this book did only come out earlier this year, so Hannah's been really quick at getting a new book out to us. This one, again, I think was for Valentina's Colour Along. I did a pastel background with the sky, and I didn't like how it looked with just pastels, so I added pencil shadows on top. Quite a lot of Calero paint on there. Again, that only took me a day. I probably could have spent longer on it. This one I love. This was a buddy colour with Erica from Elm Colours, and I just used Castle Art pencils with this and lots of Zest It blend. I had so much fun with this. I love the yellow glow that I did as well. That was really interesting for me to do. And then I used my Stardust paint on the wings and then Jelly Roll on top. I'm really happy with that one. And again, there are so many cute ones in this. I just need to get around to doing more in here and not continuously buying the books. Obviously, I'll get her new one at some point, but I might even wait for the English edition. You never know. Okay, so moving on to Kanoko Gusa, my books from her. Firstly, we have Rhapsody in the Forest. I'm ashamed to say the only thing I have still done in this is my whip of the chicks. So what I'm thinking of doing is just rubbing it out and starting afresh. But I have to say, now when I colour a Kaneko Gusa page, I always want to colour in Symphony of Cute Animals because I love that book. It's my favourite of her books. I just think it's absolutely amazing. Not that these ones aren't gorgeous, because they are, but I love the fact that it's a bit smaller, and yeah, it just, I gravitate towards it more. But yeah, this one I did a while ago, like the whip that I have done was a while ago, so yeah, I'm not sure what I will do about that, but there are some gorgeous ones in here. I have to say though, in Kanoko's earlier books, there are more patterny pages, whereas in her newer book, like Symphony of Cute Animals, there aren't as many. So I think that's maybe why I gravitate towards that one more. Love this one, that's such a cute one. But you know, in general, I mean, her books are just a must if you don't have them. I know for a fact you can get the Dutch edition of that book on Amazon. Unfortunately, you can't get the Dutch edition of Menuet de Bonheur, which I'm really sad about because I love this book. The paper is, you can work with it. It's not the thickest paper, but personally, because I only use pencil, it doesn't bother me anyway. Lots of these are from when I first started colouring. I don't think I've done any more in here since I first showed it on my channel. That was a Chris Chang tutorial that I started following. But that's alright. For me, this is very much a book that reminds me of when I first started colouring. It's not one that I will probably see myself coming back to. If I was to come back to it, I'd probably get a second copy, because it's nice just keeping the memories of when I first coloured in this book. See, with this one, I like the colour palette, but the execution of the birds, I feel like I could have done a bit different. I think I've missed one. Yeah, this one is one of my favourites, as I will always say. It was the first time I did the colour palette of the butterflies, which has just evolved over my colouring, and now this is the colour palette that I use for my butterfly and Ivy and the butterfly, and I've used it several times elsewhere. So that was really the start of that. I'm not a big fan of this one just because of the bright red that I did. It's quite garish. I mean, the colour palette, I like that I did something different and I did it bright, but yeah, it's not one of my favourites. This one I think is quite sweet. I did that with all polychromos, I think. And then I'm very proud of this one. This was following a Chris Chang tutorial. So yeah, it very much reminds me of when I first started colouring, and I love that book for that reason. We then have Waltzes for the Seasons, which I remember getting, I think, in 2018. I've done quite a few in here which I've actually taken out of the book, obviously, to give to people. This postcard book I haven't put in a postcard format like I have with some of my others, just because they're differing sizes, and also, as I said, usually I colour in Symphony of Cute Animals, even though it's her newer book, but I have done a couple in here. This was actually the Staedtler Norris colour pencils, which are really hard and usually difficult to work with, but they work nicely in this book. And then I also have, let me grab them for you, in case you haven't seen them before. These are little Giotto glitter felt tips. This is the pastel set, but you can get a brights set as well. And I basically used the blue and the silver and the pink for snowflakes. I've done one for my aunt, and I think I've definitely done some more for other people. I've done one for a giveaway as well. That was Norris colour. This was a challenge with 12 pastel Holbeins. I had the 12 set before I got the full set. So I've done a fair few in there, and this will stay a book that, you know, I do for other people, because they're nice that some of them are a bit smaller as well. And then finally we have Symphony of Cute Animals. So I think I've only done 3 in here. Let me just show you the size though in comparison to her normal size book. So it is a bit smaller. I'd kind of compare it to a Rita Berman book. So yeah, I've done 3 pictures in here, but I'm happy with all of them and I can't wait to do more in this book. So this one, I actually really like how the animals came out. I just feel like I could have challenged myself more in terms of everything else. It's just a bit kind of my bog standard kind of colour palettes. I would have liked to challenge myself a bit more, but I still like it. This one was a buddy colour with Effie. It was a lovely Easter picture that we did, and I challenged myself a lot on this page in terms of the colour palette, just using the Prismacolors, especially the flowers and the gold. And I think this was the first time that I did this cloud background, but I could be wrong. And then the other one I did in here is one of my favourite pictures I've ever done. This was inspired heavily by Kat's Kylie Colours on Instagram. And I said it at the time and I'll say it again, her picture was absolutely amazing and I wanted to try and recreate it. So I coloured all of the birds as realistically as I could. I've coloured robins a lot before, so I kind of knew what I was doing with those, but definitely not the others. I used a Jane Davenport palette pastel, which are the shimmery ones in the background, and then went over everything with all of the snowflakes with Arteza white gel pen. They were amazing. This was one of the first times I properly used them, and overall I'm just so happy with it and I can't wait to do more in this book. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I just think it's stunning. I would love to do that one if I get a chance this season. I really liked how the Artezas worked in here because I used Arteza for this, for most of it anyway, and it would be nice to use them again, although I did actually like how the Prismacolors worked. I think I used Holbeins on the other. So the paper is a little bit thinner, but I really like how it works. Okay, so moving on to Fantastic Zoo by Cami Chudu. Now I do have 2 of his books, although I haven't coloured anything in the second one. Fantastic Zoo again is one of those books that I got 2.5 years ago, and I do keep coming back to it, but not as often as I did. I will just do a quick flip for you. I really love it. I think for me, doing the same patterns and stuff just got a little bit repetitive, and I absolutely love the style. I really do. It's just, yeah, I think pulling out the same colours all the time, and the fact that lots of the animals were either grey or brown, with the exception of a few, you know, that kind of made it a bit repetitive as well. But I absolutely love the ones I've done. These are kind of more recent ones, although even they are kind of a year ago. Not a year. I think I did the penguins this year. I can't remember. I'm literally forgetting. But it is a gorgeous book. And it was the first flip through video I did on my channel. Okay, then we also have this one, which, as I said, I haven't done anything in yet because I was focusing at the time very much on Fantastic Zoo. Now this one is the Japanese edition versus the English, and I love the paper in this. This is a colouring storybook, so there are bits of writing in amongst everything. And what I'm maybe thinking of doing is, when I actually get a chance to colour in this, is to put a sticker over it and rewrite it. So I think that would make it, you know, quite nice, because it's, you know, I could actually read the story then. I did translate it though at the time, and I thought it was really sweet. So there are lots of fun new animals in this one as well, so at some point I will get round to this and do some of the gorgeous illustrations. So that's the colouring storybook. You can find these on Etsy, not Amazon for this one, but you can find Fantastic Zoo on Amazon. And then I have a selection of these nature, well, they're not all the nature one, these books that you can get at the National Trust. I had a few of these from when I was very, very young. We're talking about 8 or 9 at least. So I will show these to you. If you haven't seen these before, you can get them on Amazon. These are the colouring cards and envelopes. This was my old version of this one. Lots of them are taken out. Well, having said that, that might be my... Oh no, this is my old version. So lots of them have been taken out. I've hardly got any left actually. And this was also great when people came over and we did, you know, crafts and things like that. And this is my second copy that I got a little while ago now from my auntie and Uncle Jim, and I've done quite a few in here. Again, I've given them away to people. This was one I did, which I love, with all that glitter. And yeah, I really liked how that one turned out. I like to test watercolours and different mediums on these, so they're lovely to give away. And you do colour the envelopes with the cards, and then you get stickers at the back as well, which I think are lovely. This summertime one was one again from when I first started colouring. Well, not even adult colouring, it was just something that I took with me on holiday to Wales, I think. Again, a lot of these have gone now because I've given them away, but they're really sweet. And then this is actually a new one, which I love. This, again, was gifted by Sue, very generously. Thank you so much. This one, I'm very excited to hopefully do a few during the Christmas season, but I want to get a head start now so that I have enough time. I have briefly started this one. I will share with you what I've done. I was testing out a black Posca that I got, and I had a beige one, and I decided to just test them out as a background. I don't know how you guys managed to get really smooth Posca backgrounds. I mean, I think because of the card, I did get a little bit of texture where I probably scrubbed a little bit too much, and I can see the streaking, but I actually really like the effect of it. I do need to practice. Obviously I don't use them that much, but what I'm planning on doing is probably just doing the rest with pencil, or maybe gouache and then going over with pencil. We'll see. But yeah, that one's really sweet, and I liked that I could test out something new with these. That's what's great about them as well. You know, you have that freedom. Because they're all singular cards and envelopes, and they do match up with each other. So the second card there was a polar bear one, the second envelope here is a polar bear one, and again these all match up with the cards and envelopes. So that's a lovely little selection of books. It's something a bit different if you haven't had anything like that before. Okay, and then we come on to the two books by Emily Lytell-Loberg that I have. We've got Fairy Tales, and this one again I got a while ago now, before I started my channel, I think. I have done a few in here towards the back. I know I have. This one was one I started, I think I mentioned in my video, when we used to do our school productions. And I was in the choruses when we were younger. We were hardly ever on, so I took this, and yeah, it was fun to do at the time. Obviously my style has changed a lot, which is the common theme with lots of my earlier books. This was the first one that I did. I think that might be it actually, but I actually really like the paper in this book. I'm inclined to maybe try out different mediums and things in this. But yeah, that's Fairy Tales. You can get that one pretty much anywhere. However, Sagarok Sagna you can't. Now the paper in this is very strange. It's very, very, very smooth. For some reason my pencils, I'm not sure if you can see, have transferred over to the black. I'm not sure why. That was inspired by Katrine from Always Colouring. This one was a colour along with those of you who were there at the very start of my channel. That was all Prismacolor. This was for Polar Bears in November. That was my hashtag in 2019. Again, just Prismacolor. This one, I believe, was Faber-Castell Classic pencils that I did a couple of Easters ago. That was all Prismacolor. All Prismacolor. Lots of these were done in a day as well. That was Holbein, I think. And this one was also Prismacolor. I remember doing that. That was about 3 years ago. So yeah, that's one I do quite like. But yeah, that's Sagrok Sagna. Okay, and finally the last books that I'm going to show you in this video are my books by Layla Dooley. So I have Floribunda. Now this is a little bit too big to fit in the shot, I apologise. Now this is meant to be a poster book, so it's got really thick paper. You could use any medium on it that you want to. I have coloured a picture which is actually framed in our downstairs toilet, and I'm really proud of it, and I followed a Shirley XLY tutorial. It was a present for my mum for her birthday, so I finished it in January 2021. So if you want to take a closer look at it, you can find it in that video. I've done a couple of testing things with this. You do need the patience to be able to finish a whole one of these because they are huge. That was with gouache and this was with ink, but it is a gorgeous book. I've coloured a lot more in the flower year though, which I'm going to show you next, but I absolutely love that. And yeah, as I said, this is the flower year. Now this is very, very battered. It is pretty much falling apart, and I have actually ordered myself a second copy of this book. So I was flipping through it and there are so many pages that I want to do again. There are loads of pages in here that I am not happy with, and we will get to those ones. And I'm just very much looking forward to colouring it again. And I actually got a bit of money as well done for my GCSE results from family friends. So the second copy is what I've bought with it. So yeah, I'm going to show you this one though, because there's no point showing the second copy to you again if I haven't coloured anything in it yet. So this one is the US edition, but I don't think there's any difference between the US and the UK really. I've ordered the US one again. This one is actually one that I'm really happy with. But then as we go through, you'll just see, well, I'll show you. I'm not happy with this one. My style has changed a lot. I mean, this is like 2 years ago now, at least. Got that one. Lots of unfinished whips as well. Unfinished, sorry. That one, I think that was mainly down to the pencils. That's a whip. One that I actually quite like though. Happy with these pages. And again, fairly happy with those ones. I just think I could make the flowers look a bit more realistic now if I do them again. This one I quite like. That was Crayola actually. This one I really want to do again. That was a always colouring tutorial I did for the background, and I feel I could improve on colouring the wren. But apart from that, I was happy with that one. That's one of my favourites. But again, I just feel like I can think of more interesting ways to colour the leaves, because there are so many leaves and flowers in this book. I just want to try and see how I can make it a bit different. This is my all-time favourite page that I've done from this book. I'm so proud of it. I love the peacock butterfly. I just hope I can do the second version justice. And this, I just love the green, and you also get a bookmark with it as well, if I can find it. Yeah, here. It's lovely, but it really is falling apart. I mean, as you probably see, as I'm moving the spine there. But I will always love this book, and I also took this on holiday with me in America, which was, yeah, 2-3 years ago, I want to say, or 3 summers ago. Oh, I think I'm getting confused. It was 2019, but yeah, that's that book. So that's everything I'm going to share with you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, I really appreciate all of your comments. They really do mean a lot. But yeah, as I said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.